Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, and indeed welcome to my channel if you're a Harry Potter fan who's found their way here because of the video title. Welcome, it's lovely to have you if you're new, because this video is about my visit to the Harry Potter studio tour last weekend. It was the first time I'd ever been, and I loved it. I thought it was amazing, as I expected it to be. And yeah, I just wanted to share my experience with you. I've also posted photos on Facebook and Instagram, and I've done a blog post to go with this as well. So I've been sharing plenty of stuff about it, and I've got some video footage from the day to share here as well. Plus, I'm going to be doing a video about the stuff I bought. I'm going to do like a Harry Potter haul with the merchandise that I bought from the tour. So yeah, there's kind of plenty to tell you about and to show you, because Harry Potter's been quite prevalent in my activities recently. Over recent months, I've done a few Harry Potter related things. I saw The Cursed Child at the theatre in October last year, which was great. I loved it. And because I'm visually impaired, I got to have a touch tour, which meant I could go up on stage before the show and look closely at the set and the costumes and meet some of the cast and production crew, which was really, really good. And then during the show itself, I had headphones giving me audio descriptions, so it was telling me what people are wearing, things that were happening in the scenes and other things that might be relevant. It just helped to fill in the gaps for anything that I couldn't see clearly, so that was good. And yeah, the show itself was great. I thought it was really well written and acted and everything. And then shortly after that, I went on a walking tour. I did the Tour for Muggles, which is a tour around the streets of London, looking at some of the locations used in the filming of the movies. So that was really interesting, really fun. And then this month, I've got a couple of things planned as well. I've had the studio tour, which I'm going to tell you about here, and I'm going to the British Library exhibition soon as well, which is going to be really interesting. So yeah, Harry Potter is quite prevalent in my life at the moment, it seems, in one way or another. But it wasn't always like that. When the books first came out, I didn't really pay them any attention. I ignored the media hype. I'm quite slow to get into trends and things like that. It was only just last year that I watched the first season of Game of Thrones, for instance. So I did kind of dismiss Harry Potter as a kid's book that probably wouldn't interest me, but I then got into the films eventually, and then after that started getting into the books as well. So yeah, I've become quite a big fan now. I mean, I'm not a super mega fan. I couldn't tell you everything about every character and every location, and I couldn't quote every line from the book or from the movie or whatever. I'm not that deeply into it. I admire people who are, because there's so much detail in the books and the films that it must be very rewarding to really delve into it all thoroughly. It is an amazing piece of work. But yeah, I'm not that hugely into it. I've got the audiobooks, which I've listened to about 3 times, I think, altogether over the past 10 years, which isn't really that many. But they are great. Stephen Fry is a great narrator, and obviously the books themselves are wonderfully written by J.K. Rowling. But I've also got all the films as well. I've got all the Ultimate Edition Blu-ray sets now, so that's got loads of extra features on each one. You've got in-vision commentaries and lots of behind-the-scenes footage, and there's little booklets in there with photos and all sorts of things. So they're lovely sets. They're really great. So I have seen a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff thanks to those. And I've also got all the soundtracks downloaded as well, because the music in the films is gorgeous. It's wonderful. Every composer's brought something new and wonderful to it. It just sounds great as a classical piece of work in itself, as a classical album in its own right. It's lovely music. So that's all the merchandise I've bought so far, up until now, when I bought a load more on the tour. But yeah, it took me a little while to get into Harry Potter. I was kind of a bit late getting into it, but yeah, like I say, I really like it now, and I think having done all this stuff recently, I ought to kind of get back into them again, perhaps, listen to the books again and then watch the films again maybe, because it has been a little while. But yeah, in this video, I just want to talk about the tour and let you know about my experience. Before I do that, it's worth giving you some tips and advice as well, I think, that I've picked up from my own preparations for the tour and from my own experience of doing it, in case you're thinking of going for the first time as well, because there are a few bits and pieces it's worth bearing in mind. The first thing I'll say is that I went with a non-disabled social group. I do have a membership in visually impaired social groups as well, because of my disability, but I'm also a member of Thinking Bob, which is a non-disabled social group in London, and they, with their partners at another social group called Spice London, got a set of 6 tickets for a little group of us to go, so I signed up to that. So I didn't want to go on my own for the first time, because I can't see perfectly. I didn't know how easy it would be to navigate such a huge space, how easy it would be to see and read things and whatnot. So I wanted to go with someone at least on my first time, so that I got a feel for how the place was laid out and everything. Now I've done that, I think I would be comfortable going back there again on my own if I wanted to. I mean, it is better to go there with a friend, with a fellow Harry Potter fan, because it's a lovely social experience to share in all that stuff there. But I could quite happily go on my own. That wouldn't be a problem now. But certainly if you're visually impaired, I would recommend going with someone else like I did, just so you can get a feel for the place, because there are sections in there that are dark. Obviously the Forbidden Forest is very dark. There are other areas that are fairly dimly lit, and then you've got uneven surfaces like Diagon Alley, which is cobbled. So it's just worth going there with someone just in case you need extra help, and then you can decide from there if you always want to go with someone or if you have enough vision to go by yourself in the future. It's entirely up to you. And we just did the tour normally, our little group, but it is important to note that they do offer services for people who have additional needs. So if you have a guide dog, you can take that in. If you have a carer helping you out, then they get in for free. They also offer audio description and British Sign Language, so if you notify them at least 14 days in advance, they can assign a member of staff to accompany your group and give you audio description or sign language. I can't verify how well that works because I haven't done it on this occasion, but I assume that it works quite nicely. It's nice that they're making things accessible in that way. One of the things I'd also like to try on a future visit is the digital guide that they have. You can hire a digital guide for about $4.95, I think it is, and it's basically a tablet, I think, that you carry around with you. It has lots of extra information, behind the scenes stuff to go with what you're looking at. That would be quite fun to kind of go around carrying that. But even if you're not carrying a digital guide around with you, the one thing you will be carrying around with you, of course, is a camera or your phone. Most people use their phones now, but some people might take a camera as well. The obvious thing to say there is make sure you've got enough memory, be it on your phone or your camera. Take SD cards for your camera if you need to, because there are so many opportunities to take photos. It's tempting to just snap everything in there, and make sure your camera or your phone is fully charged. I use my phone, and the one tip I would give for using your phone is if you can live without being contacted or using the internet while you're in the attraction, then just stick your phone in airplane mode, which just cuts everything off because it saves an awful lot of power. It'll extend your battery life by a fair amount. I've also got a battery case for my phone as well. It is basically a case for your phone that has a battery built in, so you can charge your phone off that while you're on the move, which I found really handy sometimes when I'm taking videos and photos and I'm out and about. I didn't need to use that here. I just about got away with using my phone on its one charge. I had about 5% battery left when I got home, but again, that's because I had it in airplane mode, because you really want to save as much power as you can. Otherwise you're going to regret it at the end, because Diagon Alley and the big Hogwarts model come at the very end of the tour. So if you run out of power, you'll be upset because you'll regret it. The lady I was with, her phone ran out of power, so I ended up taking a photo of us on my phone and then sending it to her later, which was fine. But obviously if you're on your own and you run out of power, then that's not going to be an option. So if you love taking pictures and videos, you're going to be taking a lot there, so make sure you're prepared for that, because you can take photos pretty much everywhere in the tour. The only exceptions are the cinema at the beginning and the green screen area. Everywhere else you're free to take as many photos as you like. In terms of when to go, try and go off peak. We went on a Sunday night, 6 p.m. It's the middle of term time as well, so the kids aren't on holiday. So there were still a fair few people there, but it wasn't packed out. It was quite easy to get close to everything. There were no long queues for anything. Whereas I imagine if you go in the holiday season when the kids are off and the tourists are flocking to it, it's going to be jam-packed in there. So try and book an off-peak time. Be aware also that the opening times for the attraction do vary. Sometimes it closes at 10, sometimes it might close earlier. There's a calendar on their website with colour coding, so you can see which dates open to which times. You do need to book in advance. You can't go up there and just buy a ticket at the desk. You have to book in advance, so make sure you just book a ticket well in advance for the date that you want, and allow yourself plenty of time for the tour as well. They say the average tour lasts about 3.5 hours if you take a steady walk through it all and admire everything on the way. That's how long it took us. It did take us pretty much the average time. We got in at 6 and came out about 9:30. But if you want to see everything, if you want to read every panel and watch every video and really look closely at everything and take part in every interactive activity, you need longer than that. It'd be quite easy to spend an entire day there, and I would like to. I think it'd be really great just to spend the whole day really looking at everything closely, and factor in your travel times as well, because obviously you've got to plan getting there. If you're driving, work out how long it's going to take to get there. There are disabled parking bays there if you need them, or you can come by train, of course. If you come by train, you've got to go to Watford Junction, and then at Watford Junction station you get the shuttle bus to the studios, and you can't miss it because it's got Harry Potter imagery all over the thing. You need your ticket or your booking confirmation in order to board the bus, and a return ticket to the studios costs £2.50 because it's not included in the cost of your tour ticket. So make sure you have the cash to pay £2.50 on the bus. They don't take cards, and they won't appreciate it if you give them a £50 note or something. So make sure you've got the change to give them £2.50, and it just makes things nice and easy. And the bus is then obviously the start of your tour in effect, which brings me on nicely to my experience of the tour, because I got the bus to the studios, and when you're on the bus you get a little film to watch introducing you to kind of like the tour, kind of getting you ready for it and telling you a bit about what you need to do when you get there in terms of collecting your tickets or whatever. So yeah, that's nice, just to kind of get you in the mood. And then it drops you right outside the studios. Just outside the building there are things to look at. There's some posters on the wall, and there's some statues of wizards' chess pieces, so make sure you look at that before you go inside. And then when we got inside, there was a massive Christmas tree in there which looked really, really beautiful, and because we went for the Hogwarts in the Snow experience, kind of like their festive celebration, so there were various Christmassy touches kind of throughout, and there's photos of the cast members all around the upper walls as well. And it really helps to set the scene nicely. There's a little costume display for the Fantastic Beasts production as well. I've not seen Fantastic Beasts yet, so that's one of the things I need to see this year. So yeah, we arrived in good time for our tour. We were about 45 minutes early, so we went in the cafe that's there, had a bite to eat and a drink, and we used the toilets as well by reception. So we got ourselves nice and settled before the tour started. And yeah, when the time on your ticket then comes around, you can go up to the queuing area and get ready for the tour to start. You walk past Harry's cupboard under the stairs first, so you can get a photo of that on the way. And then you watch a couple of short films to start with. The first film you watch is in a dark room that you stand in. There are some vertical screens on the wall that show foreign language versions of the posters for the films to start with. But then when the film starts, it's basically people behind the films telling you how the film series began. And then from there you get ushered into a very comfortable cinema area where you get to watch a big screen introduction to the tour with Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson and Rupert Grint, who play Harry, Hermione and Ron in the films, of course, so they introduce you to the tour. And then obviously the tour starts proper, and you start at the Great Hall. You start at the big doors of the Great Hall, and if you've got a birthday, that's a good opportunity because you may well get invited to open the doors.
Now, speaking of special, is anyone here celebrating a birthday? Anyone's birthday? Hands up if so. Please make your way through the crowd. I can see a hand at the back right there. Was there anyone else celebrating a birthday? So me and my very special birthday helpers would like to greet you with the first words Harry heard when he arrived at the castle. Welcome to Hogwarts! Give the doors a very gentle push, please. Give them a massive round of applause, everyone. Everyone come on.
And yeah, we went through the doors, these very impressive ornate doors, into this huge Great Hall. To have that at the start of the tour is amazing because it looks stunning. And because we were there for the Hogwarts in the Snow experience, the whole room was decorated out for the Yule Ball. So it looked really, really stunning. There were Christmas decorations everywhere, Christmas trees on the walls and wreaths and all sorts of other decorations. And all the tables were laid out for Christmas dinners with lots of tasty looking food on it, even though it was all fake, unfortunately. There were big Christmas puddings there as well, which we got shown a fire effect for, the flames coming up beneath them. So that was quite cool. And then at the far end of the room, there's 3 massive Christmas trees and an impressive ice sculpture in the front as well. And it just looks really, really beautiful. It's really, really stunning. And your time in the Great Hall is limited because they kind of want to make room for the next lot of people to come in. But you do get plenty of time in there as well, so don't panic. But then after that, you can spend as long as you like in every other room of the tour. So that's great. After you come out of the Great Hall, you then go into a massive studio space where there is absolutely tons of stuff. You've got various sets in there. There's like thousands of costumes and props altogether, I reckon. There's various panels and video screens and touch screens there with information on, and there's some interactive experiences as well. You're going to see things like the Hogwarts staircase, the Gryffindor common room and dormitory, Hagrid's hut, the potions classroom, the huge pendulum from the clock tower, which is really impressive, seeing that swinging back and forth. The Mirror of Erised, Dumbledore's office. There's bits of the Ministry of Magic there. There's Professor Umbridge's office. It's all bright pink, garish glory. You've got the door to the Gringotts Vault. You've got the Burrow where the Weasleys live. And there's the meeting at Malfoy Manor with Charity Burbage floating in midair, which is quite cool. So yeah, there's all sorts of stuff like that in there. There's so much to look at. You could easily spend hours just in there as it is because there's just so much there. It's amazing. And there are various activities you can get involved with there as well. For instance, you can experience a broom coming up to meet your hand. When they say up in the films and the broom kind of raises up to them, you can try that for yourself. There's also a wand choreography area where you watch one of the production crew on a screen in front of you, and you can practice your moves with wands in front of the mirrors.
Start with your knees bent, body nice and straight. Bring the arm above the head with a clean curve. The wand aimed directly at the enemy. Bring the wand forward of the head and whip it back. Now let's see you try that.
No, I wasn't very good at it, but it was fun to try it. But I did video like the people who were in front of me doing it, so I have got his instructions there. And I did buy a wand as well. I'm not going to say whose, I'll save that for the haul. I'll let you see if you can guess. So I could kind of practice it at home if I wanted to. It's kind of tempting to try it. Maybe I'll do a video of it, who knows. It's just a thought that's in my head. It could be fun to kind of try it. But obviously the big thing there is the green screen experience. The green screen experience basically gives you a chance to fly a broomstick. In fact, there are two things you can do in the area, or at least two things that I know of, because you can also get a wanted poster done as well. I didn't realise this when I was there because my vision's rubbish and the lady member of staff who I walked by didn't tell me. I didn't know that the wanted poster thing was there. I just assumed it was all broomsticks. So I just followed people in the queue, and it was only a bit later when I heard her kind of calling to other people kind of who had just entered the area, whether they wanted a wanted poster or a broomstick ride, that I realised I'd missed that. But I wasn't going to go back to the end of the queue and start all over again. There was no point. The broomstick ride was what I wanted to do, so I was near the front of the queue by that point, so I did that, and that was fine. Next time I go, I'll do the wanted poster thing as well. Now I know it's there. But the broomstick ride is really, really fun. You get given a robe to wear. You get to choose the house that the robe belongs to. And you get taken to one of the green screen booths and you sit on the broomstick. There's a seat on the broomstick, which is mounted on green blocks, the same colour as the background. Everything around you is green, basically. Because if you don't know what green screen is, basically, it's called chroma key, to be precise. And basically having all that green there means you can just ask the computer then to remove all the green and replace it with whatever background you like. So then once you're comfortable, you've got your robe on and you're sat on the broomstick, the film is started in front of you on the monitor. Now obviously because I'm visually impaired and my distance vision is rubbish, I couldn't see what was happening on the screen. So I was just relying on the lady to tell me what to do because she gives you instructions as you're going along. Because the broom isn't moving, the broom doesn't move at all. So what happens is the computer basically moves the image of you around the screen to make it look like you're flying. And at the same time, you can move left and right. You can duck down to make yourself look more streamlined. You can reach down to stroke the water when you fly over some bits of water. And you can wave at the camera, with one or both hands to make it look like you're flying hands-free and all sorts of stuff like that. So all of that combined does make it look like you're flying. It's great. Obviously, I didn't know how good or bad I was looking at the time because I couldn't see myself clearly on the screen. So I was just hoping that it would come out okay. And then you get a couple of photos taken of you as well, looking to the side and looking up in the air. Again, I didn't know how that would come out. I just, again, hope for the best, just do what I'm told. And then basically you get given a receipt, you take that up to the checkout and you can decide whether to buy photos and or a video. You get to choose the background that the photo gets placed against. So I chose the Quidditch pitch for one and an overhead view of Hogwarts Castle for the other. So there you get printed out on glossy bits of paper and put in cardboard sleeves. So they look really professional. But you can also download the photos later as well. You get given a web link and a special code, a unique reference code for your photo. And yeah, you just go online later, like the next day, and download it. So you have a proper digital copy as well. In terms of the video, you don't pick it up there and then. You get given another receipt, which you then keep hold of. And then near the end of the tour, just before you get to the gift shop, there's another desk there. And you go up to that and get your video. So I did that. Basically, they show you the video on the screen just to confirm with you that it is you, that they've got the right clip. They fast forward through it just to give you a sense of what's there and just to check it's all working. And then they give it to you on a memory stick. There might be other options like a DVD perhaps, but I got a memory stick. It's a Warner Brothers Studio Tour branded memory stick. And yeah, you just take that home and then you can stick it on your computer. So I did that and the video came out really well. I'm really, really pleased with it. And you basically end up with a 3-minute video. So you get 2 minutes at the beginning of like behind the scenes features, a bit like you get on a DVD, where they're telling you about how the broom effects was done and showing you some of the behind the scenes footage of it. And then they tag your flight onto the end of it. I'm really, really impressed with it. I'm really, really pleased. It's a very unique and special souvenir. So I'm very pleased with that. And then moving on with the tour, after the green screen experience and all that big studio area, the next bit you walk through is the Forbidden Forest, which is very dark and very atmospheric. There's thunder and lightning effects in there. There's wind effects at one point. You'll see Hagrid with his lantern and Buckbeak on the way. There are also spiders in there that come down and sit on the rocks. And there's a demonstration of the Patronus effect as well. So there's plenty to kind of enjoy in there. But yeah, it is a very dark environment if you can't see very well. So Just be aware of that. But it is really, really good. I liked it. And then from there, you end up on platform 9 3/4 with the Hogwarts Express, of course. It's a massive area, and there's lots of luggage there from the children. You know, it's fun to look at. There are the trolleys against the wall, so you can pose for a selfie that looks like you're running through the wall if you wish to. And you can get on the Hogwarts Express as well and just walk down this very narrow corridor looking inside all the compartments. They've got different props in there. So that's quite interesting. Again, it's fairly dark in there, so if you can't see very well in dim light, then it might not be clear what's in there. It was clearer to me when I kind of took photos in there and then I've looked at them later. It's a really big train, really impressive. So it's nice to be able to say that I've been on the Hogwarts Express now. And there's a shop there as well selling various merchandise relating to platform 9 3/4 and the Hogwarts Express. So I've got a few sweet treats in there because there are a few sweets that caught my eye. So I'll talk about them in my whole video that I do as well. And then talking of food, you then come to the Backlot Cafe after that, where you can, relax kind of halfway through the tour and have something to eat and drink. And there you can buy Butterbeer to try that, which I'd never had before, so I obviously bought some and tried it, and I liked it. I thought it was all right. I mean, it's not something I could drink a lot of because it is very sweet, but yeah, it's nice. It's got a butterscotch flavour to it with a thick layer of cream on the top, and yeah, I thought it was quite nice. The lady I was with wasn't so keen. And then from there you walk outside to look at Privet Drive and various other things in the outdoors. So you've got the night bus out there, which is really cool to look at because it's huge. And you can kind of stand in the entrance of that to have a photo done. You can go into number 4 Privet Drive as well, the Dursley's house. There are some things in there to look at on the walls, and you've got all the invitation envelopes for Hogwarts scattered all over the living room in there. There's loads and hundreds of them. So that's quite cool. You can go around the back of the houses as well to look at how the brickwork was done kind of in stages, which is quite interesting. You've got the Potter's cottage as well there, which is quite impressive. And then back in the open area of the backlot, you've got the wooden bridge from Hogwarts, which again you can stand on if you want a photo. There's the Ford Anglia car, the flying car, which you can sit in, which I did, and you can get a photo in there. And there's the motorbike and sidecar as well, which again you can sit on and get a photo done. So I got photos done on those two things. That was cool. After that, you come to the creature shop where you get to see all sorts of models that were developed for the film. Again, there's loads of those, and it's really impressive to see, all of those close up. There's a film featuring Warwick Davis in there telling you about some of the stuff. There's various moving things in there. You've got Hedwig the Owl moving around. And there's also a Dobby exhibit in there as well as a model of Dobby. There's also an interactive bit where you can stand in front of 3 screens and make Dobby moved by moving in front of the camera. The left-hand screen is a very basic stick figure, which is the underlying skeleton on which the computer will then build Dobby. The middle screen is like a skeleton mesh of Dobby, so he actually looks, like Dobby there, but not quite. And then the final screen is the fully rendered Dobby, so you can stand in front of each screen and just make the figure move, which is quite fun. Then after that, you come into a couple of big set pieces that you still need to have power for at this point in your phone or your camera or whatever. The first being Diagon Alley, with all its wonderful shops and things. You've got Gringotts Bank, obviously, and Ollivanders and all the other bits and pieces. You can't go in the shops, but you can have a look, at the exteriors and look through the windows and things. It looks amazing. It is a cobbled street. If you have trouble walking along those kind of things, so just be aware of that. But yeah, it's huge and amazing and looks really cool. After that, before you get to the final big set piece, there is a gallery of concept art as well, which is really interesting. There's various drawings and paintings on the walls. There's some models of things like Hogwarts Castle and the Lovegoods house and divination class and various other bits and pieces. So it's really interesting to see kind of small scale models of how things were developed before they became the final things you see on screen. But then once you come out of there, you come to the piece de resistance, as it were, the huge model of Hogwarts Castle, so make sure you don't run out of battery power by this point, because you can look around it from all angles and take photos and videos as much as you like. So yeah, it's really, really impressive. And again, because it was Hogwarts in the snow themed, it had a dusting of snow all over it as well, so it looked really festive and beautiful. And yeah, it was just fascinating to look at it and take photos of it and have a selfie in front of it and stuff. And there's a screen in there as well which kind of shows you how the model was combined with CGI to make the impressive fly-through shots and things. So it's a really cool room, and it's just really, really impressive to look at from every angle. The amount of work that must have gone into creating that, it just beggars belief, because it must have taken ages and so many hours and so many people to do it, but it's worth the effort. It really does look amazing. It was after that then that I came to the desk for me to pick up my video from the Broomstick Ride. Then you go into a big wander room where there's basically shelves full of wands for everyone in the cast and everything. So it's a bit like the credits at the end of the film in a way, because you've basically got the names of everyone involved in the film and all these wands all over the place. So it's a really nice way to end it. And then from there you go into the gift shop, where of course I bought a few things because there's loads in there. Make sure you take plenty of money for the gift shop, of course, because it's not cheap. Obviously, it's branded products, so it's not going to be cheap. But if you're a fan of Harry Potter, it's worth it for a unique souvenir. And yeah, that's it. We finished about 9:30. We had a good 3.5 hours in there. And we got the second to last bus back to the station because the last bus leaves when the tour closes. And that was it, really. Overall, it was a really, really wonderful day. It's an amazing attraction. There is absolutely tons to see there. It's impossible to see it all. Even if you did spend all day there would probably be things you'd have to miss out because there is just so much there and so much detail to look at and enjoy. It's incredible. So if you've never been and you're a Harry Potter fan, or even if you're just like a filmmaking fan or an art fan or something like that, it's worth going because it's great. There's definitely something for everyone there. It's fabulous. So yeah, that's it. Like I say, I've written a blog post to go with this. I've posted loads of photos as well. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Do be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Do feel free to leave a comment. And do subscribe to my channel so you can see future videos I release. And I will see you for another video, which will be my Harry Potter haul very, very soon. Bye for now.